This is lesson 13, video number 3. So we're back here, and number 2, use an area model to find the area of this rectangle. And to remind you about an area model, they're particularly useful when you have mixed numbers, actually. So you just go ahead and you draw a rectangle. Doesn't matter what it looks like. And you separate the whole number from the fraction. So across the top, I've got my 1 and my 1/3. And then up and down, going up and down, I have my 3 separated from my 3/4. And then you make boxes to keep each of those separated. And then you just go ahead and multiply in each box. So 3 times 1 is 3. And 3 times 1/3 would give you 3/3, or 1, right? 3/3 is the same thing as 1. Down here, 3/4 times 1 is 3/4. And the last one is 3/4 times 1/3, and that's going to give us 3/12, which you could leave it as 3/12, or you could simplify it to 1/4, which is what you want to do, because you're going to be adding the partial products here. And when you add fractions, you know that you need to have common denominators. So you can go ahead and add across. You've got 3 plus 1 equals 4. And on the bottom, you've got 3/4 plus 1/4. What's 3/4 plus 1 more fourth? That'd be 4/4. 4/4 is the same thing as 1. And then I like to just multiply from top to bottom. 4 plus 1 equals 5. So now we're going to head back to the original problem. I'm looking at my units here. 5 what? The units. The units are important, as you know. Inches. Okay, and did we just find volume? No. If it was volume, there would be 3 different numbers here. There's 2 different numbers. We found the area. The area is always represented in units squared, or to the second power. So, how many sections were in that area model? There were 4 boxes. How did we find the area of each section? We multiplied. When you add partial products, which property of multiplication are you using? We kind of took partial products and then we put them together, and that property of multiplication is called the distributive property. I'm not going to take the time to write it out. What is the area of this rectangle? And we have it here. It is 5 inches squared, or 5 squared inches. Moving on. Actually, you know what? I want to go back to this one and show you a different way to solve. Okay, so we've got 1 and 1/3 times 4, was it? No, it was 3 3/4. I'm sorry, times 3 3/4, rather than going to another problem. Okay, so another way you can solve this is that you could create new fractions, sometimes improper fractions. So you could convert 1 into thirds. So how many thirds would 1 be? 3. 3/3. So you're going to have 3/3 plus 1 more third equals 4/3. And then we're working with fourths here, as you see. So how many fourths would be in 3? Okay, so how many fourths would be in 1 whole? 4/4, right? So if you have 3 and there's 4/4 in each whole, then how many fourths do you have? You're going to have 4/4 plus 4